8th person voted out of Survivor Texas Blossoms and Thorns, and the 4th member of the jury, Sailor. Please bring me your torch. Sailor, tribe has spoken.
My biggest fear with this entire vote, right, is that I am kind of a follower when it comes to this vote. I kind of want to make a big move, but I was going to, but like I couldn't because Crystal all of a sudden came up with this advantage. So I was thinking, what if I just don't play it? Like, I know where the votes are going. If Michael and Crystal try to claim this as a move, I can be like, well, guess what? It wasn't even a move. Like I have the advantage. So outplayed, you know?
I guess I should have assumed it was going to go like that because everyone's saying yes to you, then someone's probably saying no to you. And oh my goodness, seeing my name, like the second I saw like whoever gets put in the very like first name, you know, like it's not going to be them. You know they're going to try to spice it up. Also saw my name the second time. I was like, I'm so done. And then I saw Michael and Crystal look at each other. And they're like, I was like, not the nod. Oh, goodness gracious.
I'm on top of the world right now. Things are looking up. Final 5. We played it safe. I got to give a lot of credit to Michael. He drew a spider web of possibilities. Sailor got greedy, and that's what we were banking on. That's why we didn't hint at it. It worked.
Crystal has earned some favor, and I hope she's not mad at us for not fully believing her.
Turns out Crystal was telling the truth 100%. I feel bad, but like I was texting her, reassuring her that like it was just a safe play. We knew it would go to a tie and we'd get out who we wanted anyway. And she just texted me, I get it. So hopefully that was a good I get it. It's kind of hard to gauge via text. But I was just reassuring her because we did keep her out of the loop a bit. But I did promise her safety next week. So I plan to stand by that as long as Sarah doesn't win immunity.
If I don't win this, I'm going home next week. Guaranteed. Everyone, this team, I don't know where they are, what they're doing. I trust Andrea slightly more, but that just puts them, again, in another perfect position for next week.
So the outcome worked in my favor, although like it does make me kind of sad, just because I was really close to Sailor as well. So turning on like 2 people back to back is honestly like kind of taking a toll on me right now. Like Sailor and I were sitting at the top together, and when I went to vote, like he wasn't even looking at me. So I definitely don't know if I'm on the best terms with him. And he also made a promise with me that he would try to get rid of me at Final 4. That's not the best move for me if I keep going with him, and then if I don't win the immunity challenge, I'm basically guaranteed going home at 4.
All right, just like that, immunity is back up for grabs. Michael, thank you very much. Good luck. All right, this challenge is a challenge that you might be familiar with if you've watched the show before. This challenge is Fallen Comrades. You will answer questions about the fallen players from this game, that's the jury, and the members that fell before the jury. There are questions that we prepared. Every one you get right, you will get a ball. You will use it in the second half of this challenge to knock cups off a table. Whoever knocks the most cups off the table wins immunity, guaranteed safety at the Final 5, and a spot in the Final 4. All right, let's get to it. Cherry Blossoms, your first question might be easy. Which former player was a government maker? All right, show them in 3, 2, 1. Tavius, Jeff, Catherine, Jeffrey. Correct answer is Jeffrey. Andres, Michael, you guys can take a step up. What type of profession did Jackson want to pursue? All right, 3, 2, 1, show them. All right, Roy, embarrassed of yours?
I don't know.
He doesn't have anything. All right, everyone else says dentistry. You are correct. Everyone, you can take a step up except for Roy. Which former player played football during their freshman year of high school? All right, answers. 3, 2, 1, show them. Sailor, Jeff. Good guesses, not good enough. The answer is Octavius. Nobody was right. Except from Jerry, I guess.
Why?
What?
No, I remember him saying that now. Bruh.
No. What was the first season of Survivor that Sailor watched live? 3, 2, 1. Show them. 41, 41, 43, 20, 25. The correct answer is Blood versus Water, season 27. Michael was the closest, but not close enough. Which former player had purple hair at the start of filming? All right. Answers in 3, 2, 1. Show them. Eunice, Catalina, Eunice. Correct answer is Eunice. Everyone except for Roy yet again. You can take a step up. What sport at UT did Trinity do? Answers in 3, 2, 1. Show 'em. Volleyball, basketball. I can't read that. I don't think it's right. Gymnastics and rugby. For the first time, Roy is right. The correct answer is gymnastics. Roy is on the board. Which contestant's favorite alcoholic drink is tequila pineapple? It's tequila pineapple. Answers in 3, 2, 1. Catalina, Alexis. The correct answer is Alexis. Just like that, Roy's no longer in last place. Prickly pears move up again. Which contestant has a sister that played at Survivor UTK, at the University of Tennessee? All right, final answers in 3, 2, 1. Show them. Catherine, Sailor, Jeff, Catherine. The correct answer is Catherine. Crystal takes a step above the other blue lines. Andres and Michael in the lead coming into the second part of this challenge. That is all the questions about your fallen comrades. Hopefully you didn't embarrass yourself in front of the jury. We will now move on to the second part of this challenge. All right, Roy, 2 balls. Have at 'em. A lot of movement, 4 cups off the table. Wow, what an explosion. Roy leaves 9 cups on the table with a score of 11 with just 2 balls. That's impressive. Sarah's up next. 2 balls, 11 is the score to beat. Wow, straight in the center. Oh my God. How many is that? Was that 9? 10 cups with 1 ball? Now strategy comes in good. Cannot clutch up. A score of 9. Still impressive. Not quite the number to beat. All right, Crystal, 3 balls. Score is 11 to beat. She called her shot. And sails long. That's okay. You have just as many balls as Roy had when you started. Close? That one was closer.
Come on, Kristen.
Third ball's the charm. That's what they say. Almost. Maybe a few more warm-up throws. You wouldn't have it.
That's so embarrassing for me.
Michael's up has over twice as many balls as Roy. 11 to beat. Takes up the line. What a pitch. 4 balls to go. 2 right there.
Okay.
Strategy comes into it. Which patch do you go for?
Oh,
That's
Nice.
one question down the bench. 2 balls left. Come on.
that's 11.
Knock 1 more off. You're in the lead. Just like that, Michael takes the lead with a score of 13. Last one up. Straight Straight for the heart. That's a lot of cups on the ground. 4 balls left.
Right.
Taking it down one at a time.
Perfect. Okay.
You got it. Score to beat is 13. Andres is going to need a miracle here. And it does not come. Michael wins his 3rd immunity. Safe at the final 5. Michael, here you are. Cannot be voted for. Guaranteed spot in the final 4. Should you choose to keep it, Roy, you might have some hard convincing to do if you want it this time.
See what I can do.
Michael, in addition, you get to decide where the last clue of the hidden meeting idol goes. Pick 2 people and they will read it together.
Let's go Roy and Crystal.
All right, Roy and Crystal. This is the final clue to the hidden meeting idol. You guys can read it together. Come with me. Everyone else, see you next week.
Another bin. Once the growing the freshman thrives, secret ways for you to arrive. This is the one that says
Yeah.
yeah. You want it?
Sure. I never gotten a clue before, so.
Shoot. Yeah. Also, just to clarify, like with the tribal and stuff, that was like just like we were not putting you in any danger. We were just like paranoid, just in case you were working with Sarah and Sailor, because this way, like Andres was like kind of sketched out by it. She's like, why is she just coming to us, like coming to y'all with this? And like I'm glad I'm in like the group like that's doing it. But in this way, like we figured it'd be a tie, a triple tie, and it was. If as long as Sailor didn't play as idol, and if Sailor did, it would have been a tie between me and Sarah. We were just going with Sarah.
Yeah.
So it was like it was just a safe bet.
I'm kind of bummed because I wanted to win immunity, and I mean, I guess it's fine because hopefully Michael wants to vote with me the next round. I don't trust him and Andreas a whole lot, or Roy anymore, but I have to put my faith in them now, because otherwise I'm screwed. I know who I want to sit next to in the final 3. I think it might have changed now that Roy backstabbed me. I wanted to sit next to Roy because I thought he was, everyone saw him as a bad player. So I didn't, and I felt like Alexis might vote for him, but I'm not sure Michael is completely sold, and like everyone else, like it's just 1 vote for him, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And then Sarah, because I don't think people think too highly of Sarah's gameplay anyway, and she hasn't done a whole lot, and I feel like I've done more.
At this point of the game, I feel like I can see the light. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I really want to make it to the end. I think I have a good case as to why I should make it to the end. I think I've hit the best strategic game by far. I don't think anyone has come close to me. I made it through 6 tribal councils without ever receiving a vote. I think the closest to that was Alexis. She made it to 5, and she didn't make it past 5. Yeah, I'm looking good right now. I'm liking how I'm positioned. I think I can make it to the end. Depends on if the other people want me there.
I really effed up, guys. I literally was on a call with Andreas, and I was like, are you in Jester right now? Because it was raining. And I didn't want to go all the way and look for the idol and walk all the way down to Jester based on this clue. So I was like telling him where to look. He found the idol, and he just assumed he was going to keep it himself. Which, I mean, yeah, he did walk in the rain out there, and like, I didn't do the legwork, but I definitely could have found it. I was completely right the whole time. So, my idol, but he did the legwork, so he has it, so I can't just like take it from him.
She's gonna pretend like she found the idol to Michael and Roy, who already know that I have the idol, so she's gonna send them the exact photo that I've sent them like 12 hours ago of me finding the idol.
I just have to hope Roy and Michael will continue to vote for Sarah, and like this plan will work out. And Andreas and Sarah don't want to do something shady with me, but Sarah has some grand master plan she's trying to rope Andreas into, and I know that everyone wants to keep Sarah in. So if it's not Roy, in Andreas's mind, it's me.
Right, there's the Sarah angle, which is where we're just on the bottom, and we need to like get out because we're on the bottom and we're stuck.
I think right now my best bet, I think everyone wants to keep Crystal, and I think Roy and Michael are really close, and then Andreas and me are kind of the outs. So the best thing that could possibly happen is that I can convince Andreas, if he has an idol, to play it on me.
I think that throwing out Roy is the best choice right now because I don't want it to be like 2v2 for the next one. So I'm with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that one too. Just like, because they're just never going to vote for each other. I mean, Roy basically admitted that to me. He was just like, because I was just like, I know you're probably not going to vote for Michael. And he was like, yeah, I probably won't. So, which is like, I guess that's the game he's playing, you know? But like, at the same time, we're playing our own.
Andres found an idol. Doesn't really matter. Yep, Andres has the power to potentially play on Sarah and flip votes, but I don't see the point in that because then he would be on bad terms with Michael. So I really think he's going to stick with the final three, and I think the vote tonight is going to be Sarah.
I talked to Crystal and she was like, oh, I'm not with Michael and Roy. Like, I was like, okay, that's perfect. We got all together. We're like, let's vote off Roy, the person that won out in the first place. He's a great guy. Love him, love him, love him. How did he him gone?
I was even straightforward with Sarah. She wanted to talk to the phone, and I told her, look, I don't want to lie on the phone for 20 minutes. Like, the best move for my game is to vote you out tonight, and that's what I told her.
And he literally texted me and he was like, sorry, I'm voting you out. And I was like, what? Say that again? He didn't even say that. He texted me. At least call me. Say it to my face.
We will now welcome in the members of the jury. Catalina, Jackson, Alexis, and Sailor voted out at last tribal council. Crystal, y'all are almost at the end of the game. How do you think about who you want to sit next to versus who you want over where the jury is?
I honestly don't think about it too much because, like, I don't know what's going on in everyone else's mind, and, like, just there's so few people here, like what Andreas is saying, like, one vote can just change the whole thing. So, like, I try not to get too hung up on, like, who's going to be at the very end because a lot of that is out of my control.
Roy, what do you put most of your energy into at this point in the game?
I mean, I put a lot of my energy in trying to think of what other people are doing, even though I can't control that. The shower thoughts are always just so long. It takes a lot of time out of my day, but I put a lot of energy into just trying to put my best self out there in general. I don't want to make this game like make me a worse person because I think it's very easy to like go out there and like try to deceive everyone, and that's not the type of game that I wanted to play. So I think that's kind of where I focus my energy recently.
Michael, do you think this game has made you a worse person?
No, I don't think it's made me a worse person. I think whatever level of bad person I was, I've stayed at. It's given me opportunities to practice. You have to deceive and lie more than you're used to. It's made me more skeptical, probably. Normally, you go through day-to-day life trusting what people say. You know, like if you just have an interaction, you kind of take for granted that everyone's kind of telling the truth most of the time. And so this has made me really examine that. I don't think I've changed my actions too much. I don't think I've been made worse, but I'm maybe more aware of there are people out there when they're trying to do bad things, you can't tell. You know, you got to really examine that.
Andres, what do you think? Has this game made you a worse person?
I don't think it has, but I definitely think it's made me like a more guilty person almost. Like it's like as the further we go, like the worse I feel about everything. Just because I know like we've gotten so close to this point, like getting rid of someone is like, it just feels like, I don't know, like it's just right there. And it's also just like you get to know these people, and it's just you do form like meaningful connections besides just in this game, I guess. And then having to just vote somebody out just kind of like inherently makes it awful. But I don't think it's made me a worse person. I just think, yeah, I just felt more guilty about myself since I first started playing this game. So yeah.
Sarah, at this point in the game, would you rather be on the right or the wrong side of the vote?
Whatever keeps me here at this point, honestly. But yeah, I think honestly it's just about getting as far as you can, and at this point it's just whatever you can do.
Andres, you know that Michael will be in the final four, unless Roy did convince him to give a necklace or something weird happened. Still working on it, yeah. How does that affect your game plan?
I don't know, because now there's only 4 of us can receive votes, and after tonight, only 3 of us can receive votes because somebody's going to be getting the individual immunity. So it's just down to like the nitty gritty at this point, and I think it's just trusting in the people that you've talked to make sure that not only are you going to be safe this week, but you're going to be safe next week.
Crystal, Andres and Sarah have both essentially said that they want it to be anyone but them. They want to make it to the end, and you can see the checkered flag. How do you ensure that you make it to the end?
Honestly, there's no way to ensure that you make it to the end because, like we were saying in the beginning, everyone is in control of their own vote, and like you can't tell what's going on in anyone else's head. So I guess my strategy is just to keep in contact with everyone, gauge where people's heads are at, and just try your best to stay on the right side of the vote.
All right, well, I'd say that goes for all of you. I hope all of you make the right decision. Obviously, that's not possible, but Andres, you're up first. It's time to vote.
I still have no clue who I'm voting for. Do I take the risk or do I not? That's the question.
I just really hope it's not me.
Sarah, it's not personal. I think you're awesome, but only room for one sheriff in this town.
I'll go tally the votes. If you have a hidden immunity idol or an advantage and you'd like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
I don't think I'll need it, but I hope. Lost or something.
And you're playing this on yourself?
Yeah.
This is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes cast for Andres will not count. All right, I'll read the votes. Sarah. Roy. 1 vote Roy, 1 vote Sarah. Sarah. 2 votes Sarah, 1 vote Roy. Roy. That's 2 votes Roy, 2 votes Sarah. 1 vote left. The 10th person voted out of Survivor Texas, Blossoms and Thorns, and the 5th member of the jury, Roy. Please bring me your torch. Roy, tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go. Well, it looks like some of you had a little bit more control than you were letting on. But with that, it is time to get into our final immunity challenge, which means the winner of this challenge will be guaranteed a spot in the final 3 and have a guaranteed chance to plead their case to the jury to win this game. Congratulations. Let's get to it.
You know, beat the roommates. That was my goal going into this. I knew if I made it past this tribal, I was smooth sailing to the finale. But I knew, in my mind, I thought Andres' smart move was to get rid of me. But he could have gotten into the finale either way, I think. But now he's against Michael, because I don't think our final 3 pact is live anymore. But no regrets. I'm glad the way I played. I don't regret anything. And I'm rooting for Michael here on out. So I think he's already probably got my vote. He's an absolute competitor. And I think he needs to win tonight. if I had to guess. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. See that? We made it. We made it. Okay. Hook 'em.
God, I'm such an idiot. I should have kept Roy. Honestly, this is my biggest mistake so far in the entire game. I left it to the voting urn to decide what my vote was gonna be. And obviously I wasn't gonna make a good decision there. I was gonna be greedy. Because, you know, you get to the voting urn, you're so excited, you wanna just vote people out.
I was the pivotal, like what Sarah said, I was the inflection point here. I was the decider of all fates. I could have gone with Sarah or I could have gone with Roy. It was all up in my hands. And it went the way I wanted it to.
If I get out, it's because I did that move. And honestly, like, this is like a future warning to other players, Survivor Texas season 5, 6, and 7. Do not do what I just did. It puts you in a very vulnerable position.
This could not have gone better. I was so scared. I was like, what if someone just flips on me randomly? But we're good. We're chilling. We're vibing.
I thought maybe that was coming. I figured, you know, I think maybe they though. All right, Roy is my buddy. That's a vote for me. I have some other votes out there. They are betting on me not winning this challenge, and if it's any challenge that I can will myself to, I'm gonna win it. I want to win.
Now the last step. There's one crucial step. And that's that Michael does not win. Because if Michael doesn't win, I'm guaranteed final three. Because the other two are like, yeah, I'll kick you for sure. But if Michael wins, I don't know where I end up in that because I just lied to his face a second ago.
I've gone against Michael's vote twice. Like, he's not going to want to vote with me at the end if I lose this challenge. Or if he wins this challenge, he's not going to care about voting for me.
They all three voted together, and I'm the one person on the outside. So this is it. It's one challenge for everything. I'm ready. I want to go win this.
Michael's too fierce of a challenge competitor. No one has come close to him. We voted out everybody else that could compete.
Cherry Blossoms, once again, immunity's back up for grabs. For the final time, the winner of this challenge will be safe and guaranteed a spot at the final tribal council. This challenge is an endurance challenge. You all will have handles and you will hold a wooden pole in between those handles. The challenge will get harder as time goes on, but the rule is simple. If the pole falls, you're out. Last player standing wins immunity and a safe guaranteed spot at the final three. All right, let's get into it. All right, Cherry Blossoms, you have 30 seconds. You may now begin. Lots of different strategies. Sarah conserving her energy. Michael already in position. 15 seconds left to get in the air. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are live. The final 4 immunity challenge. It's very easy at first. I hope. But one lapse in concentration, and you're vulnerable at the final 4. Several minutes, and still almost no movement from any of the players. This late in the game, no one wants to be eliminated in round 1. At least wait for it to get harder. All right, it has been 10 minutes. All players, you are safe. You can put your boards down. We will increase the difficulty by giving you a longer board. Everyone's safe, you can set it down. Phase 2 starts in 3, 2, 1. All right, again, all players have 30 seconds to adjust. They cannot use their bodies. If you're gonna drop it, you wanna do it in the first 30 seconds. All right, everyone better be ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crystal, barely having it together. Does not look like she can hold it for.
I did good in the practice one.
We're playing Crystal.
Unfortunately, practice did not make perfect in this case. Crystal is the first one out. Not safe at the final 4 round. Just like that, we drop down to 3 players.
Oh my god, I see the roach. It's going to you, but you're good.
Lots of mind games surrounding a cockroach right now.
Oh my god, it's no mind game. My bad, I'm looking out for you.
Sarah is fighting to keep that stick on.
So we're not doing rounds anymore? No? Done with that?
We might be.
Please, 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 please. Dude.
Keep going, Sarah. Keep going.
Throw me a bone.
Don't let it break you. Don't let it break you.
I'm broken.
Damn, that's impressive. That is impressive, dude. Holy
You got
hell.
it. Like mental toughness.
That
You
is
got it.
crazy.
I feel like I can see the whole face of one of her handles. And it's still on.
Just give us another stick.
Just give us a stick.
Yeah. God
Dude,
damn.
please. Don't you want this more interesting? Don't you want 3 people doing the stick thing? Why only 2? Ah. Oh. Ah.
Just like that.
Andres.
14 minutes and 40 seconds in, Sarah drops. Sarah, don't hate me.
Are we about to drop at 15?
All right, it has been 15 minutes. Andres, Michael, you guys can set your bar down. We'll move on to the final portion of the challenge. Sarah, 20 seconds away. All right, the final phase with a 1-minute grace period starts right now. Both players with different strategies on getting it up.
That's not good.
Are you good?
Again, if you want to drop, you want to do it in the grace period. Watch your fingers, Andres. You have 22 seconds left in the grace period. Build up as much of a cushion as you can. Five seconds left in the grace period. Sure. 3, 2, 1. We are live in the final round. No technicalities. A bit of movement from Andres. Just a bit. You're good.
How are you feeling?
Just one stick, man.
Yeah.
But not great.
You're gonna be sleeping tonight. Just one stick.
Just one stick. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Just like that, Andres drops. Michael wins immunity. Guaranteed spot at Final Tribal Council. I don't believe it. Michael, congratulations. There is no clue to the hidden immunity idol. You will not need it. Andres, moments away. One tiny lapse in concentration cannot seal the deal. Michael wins his 4th individual immunity challenge in a row. Devastated looks on Andres' face. Michael, congratulations. Everyone else, you have a big week. One more player will be joining the jury, and 2 of you will join Michael in the final tribal council where you will plead your case for the title of sole survivor. Good luck.
I needed to do that. I did it. that was Crystal was encouraging him. She was done first. I knew she wasn't gonna cut it.
I did well, like when we were practicing beforehand, like lifting it up, and I did it perfectly, and I was like, oh, this is great. But then as soon as it's time to actually do it, and like I know the pressure's on me, I just couldn't do it.
It was just one stick the whole time. That's all I was thinking. If you closed your eyes, it was no longer 3 sticks. You were just holding the stick out like this, you know. That was for Roy. That was for Alexis. Hell, Catalina. I wanted Jackson gone more than I wanted Catalina gone. And all of those were Andrea's kills. And I mean, hell, I don't know who's getting voted out this week. I don't know who's voting with me, but I made it to the finale. That's all I wanted to do.
This is the worst possible case scenario. Like, no one can beat Michael. Like, that's it. I think even the crew probably knows, like, dude, that guy goes to the end. He's winning. So it's like, I don't even care anymore. It's like, there's no way.
So now we're really screwed. Sarah's not going home. Michael's not. So it's either me or Andreas. And Michael knows I was like, cockroach, whatever. Like, he knows.
We're trying to see if we can, like, scare him and be like, oh, roach! Or something. But we took too long. We were really, like, deliberating. We should have just, like, done something. Because, like, everyone looked kind of steady. But Michael, like, he's like a rock. He's just, like, there. I was like, damn. Not even a shake, not a... I don't even know.
And honestly, it's so impressive. Like, I would vote for him. Like, whoever ends up at the end, we're cooked. So, you know, I consider myself cooked already. I've been baked. I'm being eaten right now by Michael. Ribs, everything. I'm meat off the bone.
I didn't think I was going to be able to really just kind of stand there and calm. Like, my heart beats too fast and I'm shaky and I was cold. So I just kind of squeezed pretty hard the whole time and just kind of let it ache. At one point, Sarah was wobbling. That gave me strength. And then I thought Andreas and I were going to be there for minutes and it just slipped. But you really, on that last one, I think you had to get pretty tight on it.
Happened. I just looked down and it just completely fell apart. I thought I was steady for like a full 10 more minutes, maybe 20, but I don't know what happened. I'm just really disappointed in myself. This is the 3rd time in a row that I'm second place to Michael. And it's like, I don't know. I'm thinking that might be kind of my fate. It's like, me or Michael, Michael, you know?
Andreas was voted, like, if I weren't to win, who would I want to win? So that'd be the easiest person to sell. Like, oh, they're gonna win. Like, I know you think you have all these people, but that's personally really dangerous. Whereas me, I haven't done anything.
My next step would probably be to try talking to everybody, seeing if there's some kind of crack within the 3 of them. Honestly, if I somehow make it through this week, like, that's gonna be the most impressive thing I've ever done. Just in life, in general, not even in this game, because I feel like I've done some pretty impressive, but like, making it to the end, back against the wall, no idol, no loves me, not loves me, whatever the advantage, no extra vote, no steal a vote, no mail a vote, nothing, right? If I could just talk to these people and connect to them in a way where they want to keep me around, I think that would be my most impressive move by far.
So I think we're all having very open and honest discussions. And I am coming forth to Crystal honestly, saying that I'm going to vote for Andreas and that she can do whatever she wants with whatever else is going on. But if she's afraid the vote's going to come on her, if she votes for Andreas, the worst she can do is a 2-2 draw.
Yep. So I totally agree. I'm going to be voting with Michael. Hopefully we can get Sarah on our side. But if not, I'm just going to have to duke it out with Andreas and cowboy style, Old West. There's only room for one of us in this town.
It's high noon.
It's high noon. So yeah.
We're both going to talk to Sarah and try and convince, get her to believe. But I think we could maybe get on board, right?
Yeah.
I think we can.
Hey guys, I'm outside and right now I'm writing a script to say, I'm trying to make the most logical argument to make Michael think that I'm voting for Andreas. So this is my thought plan process, but really we're not doing that now.
I talked to Sarah and she's definitely gunning for me as I expected. She was skirting around me asking her like, who are you gonna vote for? And it was just a horrible, awkward, like not productive conversation. And then she called me like 10 minutes afterwards being like, oh, I'm gonna vote Andreas now, like with you, and I was like, okay.
All right, I met up with Michael earlier, and I kind of had. It wasn't the best conversation. I'm not gonna lie. My odds of staying here are looking slimmer by the second. So basically, Michael just told me. He sat me down, and he was just like, "Hey, I think I'd be dumb if I took you to the end." And I was like, maybe not that. So basically, I told him, I was like, you need to go for Crystal, because Crystal has 2 guaranteed jury votes. She has Jackson, and she has Catalina, right? That would mean that you'd need to get every other jury vote after that to win the game.
This decision is one that you have to be thinking about the final jury, and so that's what I tried to consider. I think when I looked at who I was going to vote for is who I felt played the best game, and from what I've seen, Andreas is who I was most afraid of. He made 3 or 4 really big social moves, and he is maybe a controversial figure at this point for having sent people home that he was friends with, but I think there's a lot of Survivor fans in this game, and I think Survivor fans would respect that vote.
Right now, what I'm trying to do, right, is I'm trying to tell Crystal, hey, they are gunning for you, right? Like, you have no choice but to vote for Sarah, because we have no guarantee who, sorry, I keep fixing my hair. You have no guarantee who they are going to be aiming for at the end, you know? So I keep telling her, I'm like, listen, like, they're going for either you or me, and honestly, Michael might be leaning towards you. That way, this option of picking Sarah and then putting both of our votes towards Sarah to force a tie seems better for her, even though in reality, if anyone's going to tie, it's going to be me.
For some reason, Sarah and Michael, we thought they were going to work together, but they're being so stubborn about Sarah voting me because she has a vendetta against me for some reason, and then Michael voting Andreas because he's still upset over the Roy vote. So they're both like locked in on each one of us, so me and Andreas are just going to vote Sarah.
If we can get Sarah and Michael to split their votes, right, and I somehow tell Crystal to be scared enough to play her vote for Sarah, then I could technically just vote Crystal out of the game.
And I did consider, if Andreas is voting Sarah, then I just flip my vote on Andreas and Andreas goes home. That's a slippery slope because he thought of the same thing. And if we both do the same thing, then we're just going to tie on each other, and that's what we were trying to avoid.
So I want to sit next to Crystal at the end, and I also want to sit next to Michael, because if everything goes to plan tonight, which I don't know if it will, honestly, I'm feeling really unconfident right now, but if everything goes to plan, Michael should be left out of another vote, which is 3 votes that he is off of and I'm right. So I'm hoping that I can sit with the 2 of them.
We will now welcome in the members of the jury. Catalina, Jackson, Alexis, Sailor, and Roy voted out at last tribal council. Michael, the last time you could have received votes was the final 8. Since then, you have won every immunity challenge. How does it feel to have it tonight?
Well, it feels great. This is I think after each one, I needed it more than the week I needed it before. And so I never thought I'd be able to string them back to back like that, but that's kind of been the thing that's been keeping me afloat. So I'm thankful for this crown, for sure.
Sarah, how is this round different than any of the other rounds? With only 4 people left.
I think it's crazy because it's like you're one of 3 options, you know what I mean? And you're talking to everyone, and you're just trying your best at this point, but there's not really trust, and you just gotta do what you think is best.
Crystal, how do you decide what you think is best?
I feel like at this point, it's just whoever can orate the best at the end, and like speak and just like make their story sound good.
Michael, how do you make your decision?
When it came to my vote, the one thing I have going for me is that I was good at challenges, but the whole other aspect of Survivor is the social game, and I think that all 3 of the people next to me were really great at that because they were here and they never had individual immunity, and so I am gonna vote for who I think had the best social game. I think, and hope that I will be able to sell my strengths tomorrow. And in spite of what was it like, I don't think I had the best social game. I guess some of the people I was closest to are dead, and if you can make it without immunity, then that means that you're doing something right.
Andreas, do you think you're doing something right? You've made it this far without immunity.
I mean, I think we've all done something right if we're here at this point, right? Like, I don't think you should undersell yourself. I think we should all be proud of our games. Like, we made it to the Final Four for a reason, right? And I mean, it does suck that we have to cut someone off. Like, Final Tribal is literally tomorrow. I think at this point, all of us are just hoping it's not us. It doesn't land on us.
Crystal, how much of this game do you spend thinking about the jury?
Genuinely, I have no idea what the jury is thinking or what they. I mean, in the beginning of the game, I had ideas about what people value and like who they were close with. But by the end of the game, a lot of things have gone down, and I think that people can be a lot more emotional than objective as they would have said they would have been in the beginning. So now I have no idea where the emotional versus objective scale is for everybody's minds, and I don't know like what they've been saying to each other, or like I haven't talked to them since they left, so I really haven't put a whole lot of thought into it.
Andres, if you had to guess, where do you think the jury is on the emotional to objective scale?
I would hope that they're less towards the emotional scale and more towards the objective. Just because, I don't know. I mean, I can't say how I would be, I guess, but like, it's just, I would hope that they recognize a good game, I guess, more than anything. But at the end of the day, I guess they don't owe me anything. You know, they're entitled to think how they think. So yeah, I would hope that they lean towards objective rather than emotional, but at the end of the day, they can lean however they want.
All right, well, that is also the case with tonight's vote. It is ultimately y'all's decision. Michael, with immunity, you are up first. Time to vote.
I really hope that, because like you shouldn't, my philosophy has been never trust a single person this whole game, and I'm trusting Andreas right now.
All right, I'll go tally the votes. If you have a hidden immunity idol or an advantage and you'd like to play it, it is too late. I'll read the votes. Andreas. Sarah. One vote Sarah, one vote Andreas. Andreas. Two votes Andreas, one vote Sarah. Sarah.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
This means we'll have a revote. The players that are in the tie will not revote, meaning that Michael and Crystal, you are the only people revoting. If there's a tie again on the revote, normally there will be a rock draw. But at the Final Four, there are too few players, so there will be a challenge to break the tie between Andres and Sarah. All right, Michael, you're first.
I'm so surprised Sarah didn't vote for me. I think either way, like either jury member, they're not going to want to vote for me.
I'll go tally the votes. Andres. The 11th player voted out, and the final member of the jury, Andres. Return your torch.
Okay, guys. Alright, slide it.
Andres. Travis spoken. Julia, please. Time for you to go. All right. Well, I can promise you, I did not expect that. Congratulations, you've made it as far as you can go in this game. You have 1 day to prepare for the final tribal council, where you all will plead your case to the jury on why you deserve to win this game. Good luck.
I played the best I could, honestly. I think I definitely played the best game. I think they were stupid if they did take me to the end.
I know that I have the best chance of beating Crystal rather than Andreas because I have no idea what he's done in this game.
I know I made it a big deal to give Crystal a lot of shit for it, but I was just hoping that she wouldn't turn on me. I hold no resentment towards her. It is just kind of annoying that I didn't expect a revote. I thought it was or something. So how would I have possibly known to make sure she stuck on me with a revote? I'm proud of the game I played. I don't know. I think I did a good job. I'm overall frustrated. It's tomorrow is the finale and I'm just barely didn't make it. But I mean, I keep my head high. I'm excited to see who wins. I hope y'all are proud of me, people from home. I hope my family understands that this is just a game and I am not this evil in real life. And my brother, you were always rooting for me. Thank you so much, Diego. I really tried my hardest, but sorry I couldn't take it home.
I just felt like for my personal win here, I have a better chance if I'm up against Sarah than Andreas.
I voted for Andreas both times, so who I wanted to go home went home. We just had some turbulence on the road getting there. I guess Crystal was nervous and didn't believe me. And so she voted with Andreas to try and save herself, but then she flipped on him real quick as soon as she saw she could have a chance to kill him there.
I thought it would feel a lot better to be in the final three than it does, but the way that I got here, I just feel like I'm questioning myself. Am I a horrible human being? And the way I felt after every tribal, I felt pretty, if I felt bad after a tribal, it was because I thought I made the wrong choice for my own game, but not for the person in question that was getting voted out. But then for this tribal, this is the first time I've actually felt bad for the person going home. And it's made me wonder, am I a horrible person? Because everybody keeps talking about, oh, I felt really bad at this tribal and this tribal, and oh, I was tearing up, whatever. But I don't give a fuck.
I'm excited. I wish it was a little more competitive, so we didn't have an idea of who's gonna win. I think Alexis and Andres feel very strong about what's gonna happen. Alexis has been planning her questions since she got voted off.
I'm leaning towards Michael because he's the only person that didn't vote for me, and also I feel like he's the only one that had some sort of strategy at any point during the game.
My vote is pretty dead set. I don't see it changing. Michael's had my back ever since I had his back, and that was also why he told Andres he was voting for him, because Andres voted me out. So I've got his back still.
As of right now, I'm leaning towards Michael because I think, yes, his social game was not the best. It's not that he had a bad social game, but he heavily relied on the challenges. I mean, winning 4 challenges in a row, are you joking me? You can't beat that.
I don't know how I feel about Michael's game. I think that he kind of got handed the best position to win the game to him. So I need to see him actually fight for why he believes he should win anyways.
It looks good for Michael. Can't lie, I think pretty much everyone here is coming in thinking they will vote for Michael. I think it's pretty widely agreed upon that Crystal's out of the running. I don't think anybody's voting for Crystal. She has not gained anyone's respect in this game.
Sarah and Crystal can tell me why I shouldn't vote for Michael, and then I would potentially change my mind.
I think the main thing is revealing everything that they did in the game and how they were manipulating people into doing to get into the final 3. Because really the only redeeming quality they have right now is their social game, or to show that they weren't a threat, so bringing them to the final 3 would, make it good for the person who they're sitting next to, playing down their game.
My vote specifically is not fully on lock. I think less than anybody else's. I think I'm the only one that is somewhat willing to vote for Crystal, which I know is crazy to say, but I think Crystal will have to do a lot of work to even like make me like genuinely seriously consider her vote. Crystal was the definition of a floater. I think you can float around and win a game and vouch for yourself, but I feel like she really just kind of followed Michael wherever she went. The only time she didn't was when she voted out Alexis with myself, which I did gain some respect for her right then because, I don't really know what the full scope of the game was, but in my perspective, like I saved her butt that night. Like Andres and I, all we had to do was vote for her and she would have been gone. Like I gave her that lifeline and then she immediately voted me out next week. So like maybe I'm a little bitter about that, but I just didn't see a lot of logic in the people she was following, like what she was doing. It kind of just felt like she was being told who to vote for every single time.
We want to go in. We want to give them the hard questions. We want to analyze them. We just want as much information as we can get out of them to make a good decision. We want to choose the best winner, the person who overall is the best winner of Survivor, not just social or not just challenges. We want to pick the best winner out of all three of them.
I feel like it's so surreal and insane that I'm even here. Like, this is actually crazy to think like I'm in a little shed talking about how I'm about to like pitch my entire story to the jury. That's crazy.
I feel pretty good. I'm really proud of myself that I made it here, and also kind of like suspicious of my own personality to have made it here.
More than anything, I'm just kind of thankful that I've done this whole semester. I'm really excited that tonight's going to be, I think, a fun night no matter what. And all that's left to do now is just kind of break down the game and talk about it. I'm excited to hear everyone's thoughts about certain moments. I'm excited to hear kind of the beef that may come to the surface, even though I don't think there's a ton.
I think I have Jax's vote. I think I might have Andreas's vote. And I think I have Catalina's vote maybe. I think that Alexis and Roy, well, I think Roy could maybe vote for me, but I think that Alexis and Roy are already locked in on Michael.
Right now I think I have absolutely no one, which is terrible. But I feel like if I can just convince people that Michael didn't do anything, all he did was drag himself, and his whole story is the fact that he like was gonna bring his friends to the end, and look what he has next to him, two people that are not even really pairs. So he didn't even do that. All he did was win immunity, and I think that's what I pitched to them. And I know a lot of them are like diehard Survivor fans, and they're gonna understand that like you have to do something. Either you bring your friends to the end and you want to win immunity the entire time, or you like do something. You didn't do anything.
I don't know if anyone's made their mind up yet. I think there's people on the jury I'm closest to, or was closer to. I haven't talked to any of them in a while, but I know Alexis and Roy and I were pretty close for a while there, and I'm hoping they still think fondly of me. I know that Jackson and Crystal are pretty good friends, and so I'm probably going to have to work on him. I know Catalina and Sarah were good friends for a while in there. I'm going to have to work on her. Sailor's a wild card. I think he respects the game more than anybody else. I'm going to have to prove to him. And then Andreas, I don't know. I know we were close, but he went home last week, and I know he really wanted it, and so I hope I'm able to convince him too.
Michael is definitely my biggest competition. Yeah, he's beast on challenges.
I don't know. Crystal, maybe a little bit. I think she made some bigger moves, but Sarah's, she's a pageant girl. If anybody's gonna win everyone over with a rousing speech or display of some sort, it would be her.
There's a song that's like in Creed, and the very beginning that goes like this. It's Rocky speaking, Rocky Balboa. He's like, oh no, actually Creed speaks first. He's like, what you talking about? I told you why. And then Rocky goes, well, you got nothing to lose. The other guy has nothing to lose. And when a fighter has nothing to lose, he's dangerous. And that's how I am right now. I've got nothing to lose. I can only go up from here, so I'm about to throw some mud and some people. I'm gonna have to not make enemies, but I'm about to drag some people for fun. Last chance.
Sarah, Crystal, Michael, Congratulations, you three have gone as far as you can go in this game, but tonight your fate rests in the hands of the jury. You can start with your opening cases. Sarah, you'll go first.
First, like to start with that, I think you guys all know from the game that I am probably the biggest baby in the entire world. Every time something went wrong, I was like frowning over it, but it was a double vote. I was like down like this. And just note that, like when I was a little kid, my mom would drop me off to preschool. And whenever a kid would like hug the teacher, I would like turn around and push them down. And that's kind of how the way I played this game. Whenever someone was really loved and everyone liked them, I was like, damn, that person's next. And that's how I'm up in this game. And I'm so sorry that I did that. And I've done a lot of lying and cheating, but just note that I love all y'all guys so much and I got to know you guys. I think the biggest thing is that I had no immunity, I had no advantages, I had no idols. I was really raw dog in this game, guys, but still I made it through 4 tribals where I was 1 vote away from getting voted off. But I think I still used my strategic social alliances in order to get through in this game, and I'm so sorry if I ever like hurt y'all.
Crystal.
My position, my role in the Cherry Blossoms, in all of the tribes I've been in, is kind of like a guardian angel role. I feel that in a lot of cases, I've been the deciding factor between somebody going home and someone different going home. I feel very much so that I have saved some people from, and I know the obvious thing is Roy, but more than just Roy. In certain tribals, my social game is really what brought me along to this point. I never looked for an idol. At the entire game, I never even looked for an idol. Although I did guide Andreas to finding the idol that he found at the end. I never even came close to winning a challenge. And so I really relied on my social game. 80% of tribals, I feel like I was never dragged around. I was always an active participant in the vote. I was able to play my social game to always be in the middle, never at the top or at the bottom, but so much so in the middle that I would pick people off from the top and the bottom until now we're just down here and to the middle part.
Michael.
Coming into this game, I knew that my strengths were going to be to compete, to connect, and to strategize. I think early in the game, I was able to connect really well. I have fond memories of our prickly pear, pluckers days, those kind of first meetings, even that first night when I was just meeting everybody. Crystal, I talked to you there for like 2 seconds before you were torn away. And I think I was able to use those connections to keep myself in a good position, kind of all the way up until the swap and the merge when everything got hairy. I think I was able to strategize as best I could in the middle. There were some votes that were hard, that took a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. I had to trust what the people around me were saying. Sometimes I think my connections were even a downside. It was a limitation I had, that I trusted people in some cases, and that was reflected back onto my alliances and my friends, and that's something that I would have changed if I could have done it a second time. But then the third and final thing that I knew about myself and that I think I did better than anything was compete. In the very first challenge, I got the advantage when I was going up against Jackson. That turned out to be a major play in the game. That was how we got Catalina out and we could split that vote. And then towards the end, when things kind of started slipping and I was at the bottom, I knew that I was going to have to compete for myself to continue to stay alive. And after that final vote, when Roy went home and it was an endurance challenge, I wanted it so bad. I didn't think I would ever drop those sticks. And those are the 3 things that I knew about myself coming in, and that's really kind of how I played the game.
All right. Catalina, you're up.
Okay, well, congratulations on making it. I can see how you guys all play your game. I'm gonna give you guys opportunities to choose who I should vote for. My first question is gonna be the same thing for Sarah and for Crystal. Sarah, you can answer first. My question is, why shouldn't I vote for Michael?
I think the most obvious thing is that, at least from what I heard, Michael's strategy was primarily around keeping his friends in the game and keeping people he trusted. And if you look beside him, he only has 2 bluebonnets, and he doesn't have a single prickly pear person next to him, even though he claims that his game is being around keeping people that he trusts. He didn't save Roy, probably the closest person who was in the bluebonnets. He didn't save Alexis. He didn't save Andreas in the very end, and I think that goes to show that his game that he claims is to keep the people he trusts around him, he didn't do that.
Crystal, I guess same question for you.
So, like Sarah was saying, Michael really relied on his ties to Roy and Alexis, and he also was very close to Andreas. And then that kind of backfired on him when Andreas went to vote Roy out. I know he was really upset about that at the end of the game still. So I feel that the methods of like picking people to like a few people to trust and just sticking with them the whole time really failed him, and I think that he wouldn't be in this game if it weren't for the challenges. Survivor, I feel, in my personal opinion, should be more so heavily weighted on social game rather than just challenges. I feel at its core, this game is about the social game, and I think that the power you're supposed to have socially with winning immunity after winning a challenge. I don't think that Michael utilized that power very well. He would just say what he was going to do and then expect other people around to just be like, oh, okay, we'll do that or we won't do that. He didn't really use that power as much as I feel he should have.
Now move on to Michael. Michael, I think if you wouldn't have won immunity, you probably wouldn't be here. Simply because you definitely had a target in your back. So I think everybody that had a target in their back was voted out in their correct time. Why do you think Sarah and Crystal made it to the final with you?
Sarah and Crystal were on the right side of the votes the whole way. I mean, especially that end game through, but more or less the whole way there. At least the last few, the kind of big important ones. They did a good job at keeping a target off of their back, which is something that I knew was on my back for a while, and was kind of why I felt that I had to win those challenges. I guess in an ideal game, I maybe would have kept less attention on me. And I mean, I don't know. I had some faith that I would be able to, if it was some challenge where I could really like will myself to win, I was really going to try my best, and I was okay betting it on that. But also to defend my social game, I do think that I mean, there was one vote that there's 2 times I was like quote unquote blindsided. And in one of them, I was well aware that Andreas could flip in that final, the 5-person vote. I just, there's no way to split the votes. I knew that I was immune and that I would be okay. And I hoped that Andreas would vote with us, but I was aware that it could happen, and I didn't know what else we really could have done for Roy. That was another case where I was betting on myself. If Roy goes home, I won't have anyone to speak for me, but I can control how I perform in the challenges. The one true blindsiding vote for me was when Alexis went home. But I would say that while maybe some of my like choices weren't great and I let friends go, I was aware of what was going on. I had talked to Sailor early in the week. I had talked to, I mean, everyone in the game, except for Sarah. That was the one week I didn't talk to Sarah. It's the only person I think I missed.
Congratulations for making it to the final 3. So my question is kind of up for interpretation. Out of the people on the jury, who would y'all want to remove, and why would y'all want to remove them? We'll start with you, Mike.
It would probably be you, Jackson. You're the person I talk to the least, and so I feel the least connected with you. And something that I am hoping is a strength of mine was my ability to like actually build some kind of relationship, and you're the person I know the least well. So if there was one vote that wasn't going to happen, I'd have it be yours.
Crystal.
I would remove Alexis because I feel out of everyone else here, she knows the least about my game or like who I am and how I play. We never really talked about the game at all, nor did we really just talk about stuff.
Crystal, your answers are kind of confusing me a little bit, I would say, because you say that you value a social game, but then you go and say that you're the least close to me when we were on the same tribe for 3 weeks. And if you really think your social game is what got you here and it's so strong, then why did you never reach out to me or like talk to me or feel that you're so like distant from me when we were on the same tribe for so long?
So for me, the feeling of disconnect was more so because I felt you were so connected to Roy, and like I just felt you guys were more of like a pair, and I couldn't ever like penetrate that, like get into that like dynamic that you guys had. And I did really appreciate whenever you talked to me at Gen D's. Like that was really nice of you. And you were the only one that did that. And like I could tell that you like were feeling how I was feeling, because like we've both been blindsided before. And I really did appreciate that. But I like whenever like we FaceTimed, I feel like we didn't FaceTime very often or for a very long time. Whenever we were FaceTiming, we were on the same tribe. I feel like it was pretty like quick, like who are we thinking, you know, just Survivor stuff. And yeah, I just didn't feel like out of everybody else, like I'm not saying that I didn't feel close to you at all. I'm just saying out of everybody here, I feel like I've talked to them more.
You said in your game that you were someone that you were in a pivotal position to where you saved people multiple times, right? I believe that I saved you because at Alexis's vote, there were 2 votes on you. Andres and I were close the whole time. All we had to do was say, hey, let's vote Crystal, and you would have been gone. I gave you that lifeline, and I said, I trust you. I want to vote with you. And then you vote me out the next time. So after a move like that, why should I vote for you?
Well, Sailor, I think that as a person that really enjoys Survivor, I would hope that you could be a little bit more objective about your values, because you're a really good player. And if you had made it to the end, having your name down like every single tribal, and like you actually did have an idol, like, and so us voting you out, I feel ended up being the right move at the right time, because you didn't have time to play it.
All right, Michael. I respect your game. I think you played a really honest game. You held your cards close to your chest the entire game. You had the chance to blow up my game. You know, I came up to you and said, let's vote out Alexis. You never told her. Why? Why didn't you tell her?
I was closer with Alexis, and I knew that, or I felt like we had numbers. I thought long and hard about it, and I didn't hear many rumblings of stuff coming over your way. I didn't know if people were going to vote with you. I thought we had the numbers, and I felt strong, and I thought we were going to get you that week. Looking back, there were like maybe 2 opportunities I had to really kind of grab the game, and in both times, I just, you know, I felt out my decisions. That's really how I make decisions, is with what I feel, and I would have felt bad killing someone I felt very close to in such a drastic way.
And Sarah, I respect your game a lot. I feel like we played very similar games. There were times where you voted with me, like for the Alexis vote, that I was actually most skeptical of you. Like you were the one I trusted least. I was afraid you might flip, and you voted with me. Even on the vote where I went home, you, to my knowledge, also voted for Roy. So I respect that. I think a lot of people here, you know, kind of already have an idea of who they want to vote for, but I really want to give you a chance, like, because I do think you played a great game. So it's kind of a broad question. Just prove yourself. Why should we go for you? Like, was there one thing that you did that you want to tell everyone about, or just anything? Why should you beat out someone else here?
I think the game that I played, I had to work from, I think, the very bottom. I think Catalina, Jackson, Alexis, Roy, maybe Crystal all know that there were final 4 packs, final 3 packs at the end of the swap that I wasn't a part of. And from that sense, I had to kind of, I think that in my game, I was voted like, there were 4 times where I was 1 vote away from getting off. And every single time I had to convince one person not to get me off. After the Alexis, the Trinity vote, I had to get on, I think I was just switching sides so many times because I felt like I wasn't in a pair, and I almost had to convince enough people to keep me in the game. That's when I got the connections through Alexis for the other prickly pair side. And then that was hard because I did vote off Jackson, which I trusted a lot because he was the only other person. It was like me, Crystal, Roy, and Jackson were only blue bonnets. And I knew it was kind of the bottom of that pack. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do next? I need to switch sides so I can go onto the prickly pair squad because maybe they'll keep me for a little bit longer. So I swapped with that side and voted off Jackson because I thought he was also a really good player. And then there again, I felt like I was the very bottom. Maybe Crystal was the bottom too, but she had a very strong position throughout the entire game. She had so many packs with Roy to go to the final 3 together. So again, I had to switch again. I said, what's the next best option for me to get any alliances with anyone? And that was like voting off probably the person I was closest to in the entire game at that point, which was Alexis, because Alexis was connected to everyone else. And that point again, I knew Roy was targeting me, and that was hard because that was the vote where I thought we were working together to vote off Roy, and that was the one true time I think I was completely blindsided. I think that was the point where this entire game, I think unlike Crystal, I don't know about Michael, but I was always throwing names, and I wasn't afraid to make the next move rather than feel everyone out and then kind of go wherever the vote's going, so you're not on the wrong side of it. So then with that vote, that's the first time I think I realized that Andreas might be more of a, like, not emotional, but that was the time where I told you we should maybe split it on Andreas because he might have an idol, and then Andreas flipped it on me, and that was the first time, like close to the end of the game, where I was thinking about voting with Andreas to vote out Crystal, but I thought back to the time when he flipped because he told him that I might put it on him, so I was like, okay, maybe Andreas might be the safer vote just because of that one time. I didn't know exactly how you come. So that one time that vote. So, and after that, it was trying to get people to get on Roy's side. I was really just trying to move to the people, and I was throwing names, people I thought would vote with me, especially when I think maybe everyone was kind of against me or wasn't willing to work with me because they'd have closer connections with everyone else. And that's how I thought I got to the end. I don't know if that pitched or changed your mind at all, because it sounded like a lot of rambling, but I do think I got in this game. I got this far in the game because a lot of people trusted me, and I betrayed a lot of people, but I think that shows how good of the game they were playing, and I was literally just the person that I think had to move to the next best group in order to stay in the game.
I'll start with you, Sarah. So you probably received the most votes, with the exception of Sailor, out of everyone in this game. Does that reflect positively or negatively on your Survivor resume?
A part of it's positive because someone thought at some point that I was the, actually it could be completely like, oh, this girl's so annoying, get rid of her. But I think one part of it could be that he thought that I could be a threat later on to their game, whether it was they thought maybe they wouldn't vote for me. I mean, maybe they wouldn't vote for me, whether they were targeting me. And I think on the other hand, it shows that I was able to have that social aspect to the game where I was able to convince enough people enough times to not vote for me and to give me one extra lifeline. There were 2 times in this game where there was a tie, and I couldn't vote, and it was very easily one of y'all could have voted me home.
Crystal, these are your words. You said that you played in the middle the entirety of the game. Why does that deserve my vote for the winner of Survivor?
So the thing about playing in the middle is that you keep votes off of you and targets off your back, because let's say everyone perceives someone at the top as a really big threat. Well, they're getting targeted first. And then when it comes time to split the votes, the people that are on the bottom that have the least amount of connection or emotional connection to other people or alliances, they get voted second whenever you split votes. And a lot of times there were 2 different camps. And one camp was voting for one person, one camp was voting for another person. And I was the person in the middle telling one group that I'm going to vote with them and another group that I'm going to vote with them. And sometimes I ended up being a deciding factor. If I had voted a different way, the outcome would have been different. And so also, especially like with the advantage that I used, I totally blindsided Sarah on that one.
So the thing about the idol is that I actually found it like a week and a half before I called you. I was finding the right time to tell everybody, and you were like, let's do the idol. So I was like, okay. So I went downstairs with the idol in my hand. I pretended like I found it in front of you. And I was like, holy shit, I just found this idol. You even claimed, you were like, oh, can you send me a picture of it so I can claim that I found the idol? I had sent the picture, the exact same photo that I sent you, to Roy and Michael, saying, hey, Crystal might claim that she found this idol. I actually found it. So I guess that was just what I wanted to say about the idol. And then the second thing was just the advantage that you said you played. So as all of you guys know, I was eventually handed the advantage, right? And it was my turn to go up to the podium, and I was looking around, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get any votes tonight. So I actually didn't even play it. I'm wearing it right now. And then Michael, I guess the thing I want to ask you is just, because I feel like you had so many opportunities to make moves, and I feel like I threw you so many bones, and I feel like you were never catching it, right? And it's just like, whenever we were talking about Alexis, right? You were just like, oh, like, we really are in the middle here. we really are in the middle here. Oh, shucks, we really are in the middle here. And I was like, Michael, say something, you know? And I feel like I wasn't, like, part of me is just like, did you really put in an effort as far as social goes? You know, obviously you made your points, but were you going to make moves? And so you and I talked, right? You were just like, no, I mean, we're in the middle. So I knew you were going to vote off Alexis. And I was like, okay. And then for Roy Booth, I had not heard from you until Sunday, the morning that Roy was going to get voted out. And you were saying that, oh, there could be a suspicion that Roy was going home. Well, you didn't even talk to me. So part of me is just confused as to like what do you think you've done for yourself socially besides just being friends with everyone in this game?
I remember Cooper asked me in like the very beginning interview for the game, like if you needed to, would you vote someone off? Could you make a big move? And I said yes. I thought at the time that it would be really easy to, you know, make a move that seemed smarter on paper and go against connections because it's, you know, it's just some game and everything. But in those two moments specifically, when they came down to it, I found it harder than I thought it was going to be. And maybe that is kind of a weakness, but I think that it wasn't so much that I had an inability to choose. I just chose to go with the people that I had already been strong with. The strongest thing I ever did was vote for you. I think you were a really, really good competitor, and that was the vote that it was the first time I really felt like I wanted to do something and really push it through, and it did happen, and that was probably my strongest social move.
Sarah, I do think you have put you've surprised me the most at this final tribal. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think you have put a really good shot. You're saying that like whenever you were these split votes, right? You knew that you could trust in your allies to vote correctly on the revote and not send you home. But I think what you fail to realize is that you being the split vote was just in case of an idle play, you would be going home. It wasn't really like oh, we need to save Sarah on a revote kind of situation. I think that there is some merit into getting so many votes and making it through and not even giving up, keep being a competitor. You voted for me, and honestly, I thought you made the right choice, you know?
First of all, I would like to say that I fought for you so hard. With the last one, I was literally on the phone for maybe like 30 minutes yelling at Michael. Like, what? I was like, I think, like, I was literally yelling at this man. Like, what are you actually doing? What are you actually thinking? I wanted to keep you.
So you voted with Michael? You went with Michael's plan?
I went with Michael's plan, yes. I know you have no reason to vote for me. Maybe you're like, Sarah, this idiot, she made it to the end for no reason. Sarah, you were a pawn. But I feel like in that same sense where I was kind of that middle player, I think Crystal was that middle player too, except I maybe was more the pawn in most of those situations. But I think there are so many times where I could have gone home, but people saved my butts because they thought, oh, Sarah will vote for me with the next one. Okay, maybe Sarah will vote for me with the next one. And I think that's a stronger move in being the middle rather than the person that feels every side and gets to people kind of push her around, I feel. And I would be very calculated in what I thought people would do. I'm very analytical, and I would think, okay, who's most likely to do this? And at the very end, I knew before you flipped on me and put a vote on me just for your plan, which I completely understand, and that's obviously a great move for you. But at the same time, I was like, okay, he might do that again, which maybe what is exactly what happened, because I thought, okay, in the past he did that before, so he's going to do it again. And that's the only reason why I voted with Michael, because he has put, because he had the immunity the entire time he was beating this ground. And I thought in order for me to get to this position, the only option I had was to go with Michael in that vote so I can be here.
All right, this is your last chance to make an impression on the jury before they cast the game-winning votes. Michael, you're up first.
I was reminded of a moment just meanwhile with all these discussions. I don't remember who I had the conversation with. I think it was with Roy or Sailor, but somewhere in there we were talking about, do you start with the final three and try to work backwards to best increase your chances? And we were like, hypothetically, if you could take two people to the final three, who would it be? And we both said Crystal and Sarah at that time. I heard first that that my name was out there before the Alexis vote, and I felt pressure to win the games that I was in. And I felt like Andreas was someone who really played the game well. The advantage necklace, I didn't know you had that up your sleeve, the idol from earlier. You had all these funny tricks, and that was the one time I really dug my gut in and made a strong decision, and I'm glad that I am.
To me, this entire game, I feel like everyone's had such an emotional investment in the game. But for me, people have done things and like made moves based on like their emotions or like some feeling of connection they have to people. But for me, I I was able to kind of cut that off and just think with my head. And I think that after what Andreas said, my best move by far was voting out Andreas last tribal because you had built up all these tricks up your all these little bombshell things to drop at final 3, and I had never really felt bad about a specific person going home at any tribal except for the last one. Like every time I felt bad, it was because I was like, oh, I feel like maybe I should have gone with someone else, or like it should have been a different choice, or like I don't know if this is going to be good for my game. Sorry. But with Andreas, I felt like actually really bad because I had made a promise to you and you had really tugged the heartstrings on me, and I almost voted Sarah. I was so close and it was so hard to vote you out. But now that you've said all these things, all these little bombshells, I think that my proudest moment is sticking with my guns and with my head and voting you out, because that's something that I've struggled with personally.
I think I would like to say that I had a game that was kind of a culmination of both Michael's and Crystal's. I did make some very emotional, or for me, the votes were very emotional, was very personal. I talked to Alexis twice. I was lying to people's faces, and I really cared about them. And just seeing the way you guys talk about these two amazing people up here, you guys truly do care about them, and you all are such close friends. And for me, it's like, oh, dang, they're just going to be like, oh, this is my bud, this is my bud. And Sarah's kind of just floated here. But I think that at the same time, I did play that strategic sense in which I was going with the people that I thought were best going to align with me. It was really tough because it was both strategic, so it was like, what's the next best move? But I also knew that I was kind of always the bottom of the chopping block. You guys are always closer to me, and I don't want to make this like a black thing, but I have to do it. I've always been kind of felt like I've had to be someone else or kind of change who I am in order to kind of fit in with everyone. And in this game, I think I kind of did that exact same thing where I felt like, okay, what do I have to be for these people to save me one more vote? Maybe they'll split it on me because I'm not their favorite and I'm not their best pal, but what's the next thing to get me closer? What's the next thing? What's the next vote? What's the next person? And that led me flipping 3 times, first the blue bonnets, then with the prickly pears, then back and forth and to the very end of the game. And maybe I was a person you're always like, Sarah, nah, she could like go, we can keep her or lose her. But I do think that was a part of my game and staying in that position where you could keep her or lose her, but I ended up keeping her for long enough where these people think that I'm okay being next to them. And even though I'm proud to say that I did that much, even though I'm maybe not the most socially strong person. So thank you.
Again, congratulations, final 3. With that, it is time to vote. Catalina, you're up first.
You're a true survivor. You've done a great job.
Sarah, you made a really strong case. I gotta go with my boy.
All right, I'll go tally the votes. Michael. Sarah. 1 vote Sarah, 1 vote Michael. Michael. Sarah. That's 2 votes Sarah, 2 votes Michael. Michael. That's 3 votes Michael, 2 votes Sarah, 1 vote left. Sarah. We have a tie. Crystal, this means you have been demoted from a finalist to the final juror. Crystal, bring me your torch. Crystal, Travis spoken.
Toodaloo! Okay.
This means that Crystal will cast the game-winning vote for either Michael or Sarah. All right. I'll go tally the vote. The winner of Survivor Texas Season 3, Blossoms and Thorns, Michael. Congratulations. Congratulations, Michael.
Oh my God.
Michael, congratulations.
Thank you.
I have a note for you as well.
I appreciate it.
Great game. Thank you, everybody.
You're a true survivor. You've done a great job.
I think there's so much more to Survivor than winning challenges and just, I guess, making friends.
Like I said, you've had my vote for a really long time. Sarah did give you a run for your money more than I thought.
You played a great game. You showed loyalty when you needed to. You made big moves. You weren't afraid to own up to them. I gotta go with my boy. Sarah, you almost had me until you told me that you just went with Michael's plan at the end.
Just an M. I'm blanking on how to spell Michael's name.
Oh.
Yeah!